Next on Worcester News Tonight, we hear from Worcester City Councilors joining a nationwide discussion about clashes in Charlottesville. Plus, small robots trying to do big jobs. We'll look at some of the innovative work being done at a Worcester university. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Catherine Enrioli. The recent violent clashes in Charlottesville, Virginia are causing a nationwide discussion. The rally organized by the white supremacist groups sparked protests, and a man allegedly drove his car through a crowd, killing a woman. Tonight, closer to home, Worcester City councilors are speaking out. Our Cam Jandro spoke with some of the councilors and has their thoughts. Cam?
Catherine, the events in Charlottesville, Virginia has stirred up reaction all across the country, including right here in Worcester. I caught up with a few local city councilors to get their reaction on what happened.
I would be the first to stand to be able to say that's something we don't want in this city.
Worcester city councilors are speaking out against hate and racism after this weekend's protests in Charlottesville, Virginia. Soraya Rivera isn't shocked issues like these still happen in the U.S.
We are not living in a post-racist society. We figured, we thought, well, we had a black president and we were all set. That was untrue.
Dozens were injured and one was killed after a man drove his car into a crowd of counter-protesters at a pro-Confederate rally Saturday. Councilor Mo Bergman says while he wouldn't want a Charlottesville-like rally here in Worcester, he doesn't believe the results would be the same if it were to happen here.
They're not considered mainstream, they're considered on the fringe, and they may have their First Amendment right to preach hate, but overwhelming majority of people in Worcester wouldn't pay attention to that.
Worcester held unity rallies in response to Charlottesville. Afterwards, some protesters even blocked traffic. Vice Chair of Worcester City Council Michael Gaffney says that's not the way to act when looking for change.
Blocking roads, acts of civil disobedience, that doesn't change the world that we live in. I'd ask people to do something productive, and I do actually have a call to action here. It's to go out and give back to your community.
But both Bergman and Gaffney believe what happened in Charlottesville is not an issue of First Amendment rights, but an issue of people not talking out their differences.
The hatred that gets stirred up in general is based on ignorance. That's been my experience. And if we could find ways for people to get to know each other better, I don't think hateful comments and hateful situations would be as common.
Real change comes with real action. I'd ask people to ignore the cries, engage in this partisan politics that seeks to divide us, and all the other nonsense that doesn't do anything of substance.
Also in Boston today, Mayor Marty Walsh and Governor Charlie Baker came out against a scheduled freedom of speech rally, saying white supremacists have no place in American political dialogue. Catherine?
All right, Cam, thank you for that report. And in Worcester, hundreds gathered for a solidarity rally at City Hall Sunday to stand up against white supremacist groups. Brittany Schaefer reports.
We just couldn't do nothing.
Following large white supremacy rallies and protests in Charlottesville, Virginia, hundreds in Worcester gathered for a solidarity rally.
No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA!
And I was so pleased to see so many people that came together to protest the actions in Virginia.
All of a sudden there were hundreds and hundreds of people there with signs and families and, like I said, people of all colors from all different places.
The Worcester branch Standing Up for Racial Justice organized the rally. Member Heather Keenan says the group has an important message to send.
We felt like it was really important to show that there's a large group of white people that don't stand for this, and we wanted to be a big presence.
Worcester NAACP Vice President George Yancey says racism is still prevalent across the country, and recently things have gotten worse.
I think one of the reasons we're seeing it is that this encouragement is coming from the top, that we have a president that is advocating violence.
The true work begins after the rally, right? So people go and they see, like-minded people. They hear from the people they should be listening to, which is leaders of color. We need to listen to them.
Yancey says in Worcester, he still doesn't see true equality, and it's an issue which could lead to bigger problems.
Many of the city employees do not reflect the makeup of the community, such as the teachers, the police department, the fire department. And we have to correct this. And I'm afraid that if we don't, and hopefully this won't happen, we might be the next Charlottesville, Virginia.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Mosquito concerns in central Massachusetts are prompting action from some communities that are taking steps to reduce the risk of West Nile virus. The town of Auburn announced today they are spraying areas of the town tomorrow after the risk level of West Nile in Auburn changed from low to moderate. The area of Sword Street is one of the several places that will be sprayed. Dr. Michael Hirsch says it's important to take steps to reduce the risk of West Nile virus by both avoiding mosquito exposure on your skin and also around your home.
This is not the Zika virus, this is not malaria, this is not one of those really, really bad mosquito-borne viruses, but it does have a small potential in a limited population to cause some symptoms that we can avoid with some simple prevention things. So on your property or in where you live in your apartment building, if there is a bird bath or an old tire or a barrel that has water in it that's stagnant, that's where the larvae of these mosquitoes hatch. So draining that will be a big help long term.
There have been no human cases of West Nile virus detected in the areas affected, but the Board of Public Health has identified several positive samples of the virus in towns like Shrewsbury and Grafton. For more information on Auburn spraying, you can visit the town's website for a full map. A Worcester man suffers serious injuries after police say he was hit by a driver who was under the influence. The incident happened on Cambridge Street in Worcester. Police say 41-year-old Carmen Chavez of Lynn hit the suspect around 4:20 Sunday evening. Investigators say Chavez stopped in a nearby parking lot, and when exiting the vehicle, she threw 2 nips of whiskey out the window. Chavez is facing multiple charges, including operating under the influence, resulting in serious injury. The victim is expected to be okay. The owners of Dead Horse Hill will be opening a new spot in the city, giving Worcester's restaurant row some Korean flavor. Called Simjang, the restaurant mixes American and Korean elements. It will take over the space left by a former bakery suite, meaning Heart Simjang gets its name for being in the heart of the Commonwealth. Owner Sean Wood says staying in Worcester was a no-brainer for him and his team.
We're already in it. There was no consideration. We're fully invested in Worcester. This place is my home. It's our home, and it's very important to all of us.
Simjang is set to open later this fall on Shrewsbury Street. Inmates at the Worcester County House of Corrections have been hard at work picking and harvesting vegetables. The jail provides hundreds of pounds of food daily to local food pantries and saves themselves thousands of dollars a year. Rosalind Flaherty has more.
Tom Lee looks forward to getting outside and picking vegetables. The inmate at the Worcester County House of Corrections spends most of his day working in these fields.
It gives me freedom.
Tom Lee will be getting out in September and says having this responsibility will help him transition.
Real life, you know what I mean? It's not like the life we live, you know, it just puts you in the normal life routine.
This is the 6th year of the Worcester County Sheriff's Department organic farming program. A group of low-risk inmates tend to 13 acres of vegetables at the jail throughout the growing season.
It's a wonderful opportunity for inmates to, number one, get a skill, number two, save us money here at the jail, and also distribute incredible amount of food to food pantries all across Worcester County and get a sense of dignity and self-respect that some of them have never experienced before.
Worcester County Sheriff Lou Evangelitis says they distribute more than 500 pounds of organic vegetables a day to local food pantries. The vegetables are also served at the jail, saving them $30,000 a year in food costs.
Incredible savings to the budget at the jail, which every penny counts, but it also gives so much back to the community.
Monday, inmates were picking zucchini. Corrections Officer Brian Almstrom says he sees their attitude change once they get to work.
Once they figure out where the vegetables are going and how they're helping, you know, unfortunate families and the elderly and veterans.
Sheriff Evangelitis says the program provides inmates with structure, which will help them after they are released.
Inmates tell me constantly, Sheriff, this is the first time I've actually had a job. I get up in the morning, I look forward to it because I know I'm doing so much good in this community. And when I get out, a lot of these inmates find themselves transitioning much easier.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
The Worcester Police and Fire Departments are getting ready for some friendly competition Friday. This Friday is the Battle of the Badges blood drive. The department and public can donate blood at the DCU Center and will then choose which side to vote for. The winning department will take home a trophy along with $1,500 for their charity of choice. Chief Stephen Sargent and Michael Lavoie say the event is for an important cause.
The winner here is the community and the Red Cross, because we're going to, this time of year with vacations, people that normally give, the blood bank goes down, so this is a great opportunity to fill the bank. So we'd love you to pick blue, but we just want you to pick something. In other words, you came down and gave blood.
Well, there's always a need for blood, but red always comes through in these competitions.
And again, the event is this Friday at the DCU Center from 10 until 5. A WPI professor has begun new work involving small robots, and his efforts could do big things to improve the way disasters are handled. Our Chandler Walsh spoke to the professor and has the story.
For now, Carlo Pinsaroli's robots move around on a WPI lab table. But Pinsaroli says one day they could be used for dangerous tasks in large environments. The concept behind them is called swarm robotics. Pinsaroli says they mimic nature and the way insects behave.
Nature can be mimicked in many ways. So sometimes you literally mimic what they do. Sometimes you take inspiration. So you see it's possible. You don't know exactly what the ants or the bees are doing, but you try to guess.
Swarms are made of simple individual units, but when they come together, they work intelligently to accomplish more complex tasks.
A single ant by itself would be doomed. It would be not capable, for instance, of defending itself, finding food, building a nest, and so on. But it is because we have many of them that work together in an intelligent way that we find something that is coordinated, smart, capable of finding food and even reconstruct a destroyed nest.
Pinsaroli hopes his robots will have many uses, from planetary exploration,
how you collect samples from very difficult places to reach,
to helping first responders and victims in natural disasters and war zones.
Imagine a swarm of drones that could go around and coordinate the finding and the saving of people that maybe are not capable of signal their presence.
Pinsaroli and the students working with him are in the first stage of the project. Once they find companies interested in their work, they aim to use the robots in practice scenarios and eventually in real situations.
It's really nice to work on something that can be useful and help people. Yeah.